Kanalakis.
My name is Vigo, and you're watching the New Era Jets. In this episode, we'll talk about all the coaching staff Glenn has brought to the team and how it can impact us. But before we start the episode, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Stephon Diggs to the Patriots. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think a lot of Jet fans and sport fans around have been, highlighting the idea of contracts definitely an overpay and it's just being realistic. Because I saw, for example, 49ers are scared that they're not able to trade Ayuk coming off his ACL injury, which is a pretty normal thing. It's hard to get the money once you're coming off a big injury like that. So I do definitely think the Patriots overpaid a little bit, but in terms of where they stand as a team and having the fourth pick, which, like I said, heavy loaded draft, I think there's a good chance. I still think they could get Travis Hunter. So I think that's a great move for them because it is an established receiver one. I mean, I saw today he had 47 catches, 500 yards, and 3 TDs through 8 games last year. So, you put him on our team, he's receiver 2 already. So I can't hate on him as a player. I mean, he's established himself in the league, but I do definitely think it's an overpay. And like you said, with the ACL injury, I don't know how it's going to affect us. I'm hoping, I do trust, if we line up Sauce against him, I think Sauce could take care of him pretty easily, especially at the point of the career he's in. So I don't worry about it too much, but I do definitely think it's overpay. How do you feel about it?
I feel so too, because like you said, off of ACL, I believe it's 23 per year.
Mm-hmm. Or it was 3 years, 69 mil.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for sure, but he's a good player, but you don't know how he come back. I actually want to get him, but the thing is, if you know his history, he's a diva. You know how he is. If you don't get the ball, he's gonna start complaining. I don't want that on our team.
Yeah. We don't need much. We don't need more drama, especially being in New York, and we're the most highlighted team every year, regardless.
Exactly. So as much as I like him, I don't want him on our team just causing problems. Yeah, but like you said, I'll line him up against Sauce. He's done it the last 2-3 years. So
exactly, and Sauce has lined up pretty well against him. So
yeah,
I don't think it's too big of a worry for us. I mean, the Patriots did also pick up Matt Collins, which. He's more of a blocking receiver than actual route runner, so
yeah,
good for their team. But I'm not really too worried about it as long as we draft heavy, which I think we will.
Yeah, and since he's coming off an ACL injury, I assume that he's not going to play the first 4 games of the season. I
saw they said on NFL Network today he's supposed to be ready for week 1, but it's also I feel like it's going to be one of those things where the team kind of monitors where it's if he's not 100%, there's no reason if you're the Patriots to rush him into week 1. But I mean, it all comes down to I think, where their team stands at the moment and what they want to do. But I saw that he should be ready by week 1, but he tore his ACL I think week 8 or 9 last year, so it is a long recovery. So I don't know what they plan on doing with all that, but we'll see.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I'll give him 4 weeks then. For him to come back.
I would definitely not rush something like that because I think he's 31, so he is still getting up there.
Yeah, but like I said, it does mean a lot for our division for sure, based on how we've been in the offseason. I mean, the Dolphins haven't done pretty much.
No,
I can't even think of who they signed. On top of my head,
didn't they sign? The only move I could think of was that the Nick Westbrook dude from the Titans. That
him too.
I wish we got, but I mean that was a good move.
Oh, and Zach Wilson. I just remembered.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
I'm worried that if we play them, he's gonna end up starting. I guarantee you we're gonna see that. I guarantee you.
My 2 things going into this season are hypothetically that were to happen, or the inevitable happens where we're gonna get the notification at some point this next couple months where Rodgers goes to the Steelers, and next thing you know, we're playing Steelers week 1, and here comes Rodgers, and it's
throwing for 3 touchdowns, 400 yards.
The inevitable where. Just knowing our luck, Fields is going to have a down game and Rodgers will throw for 300. And it's that always happens. But, I mean, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Now we'll get into the episode. And first, for the offense side, first talk about the GM, Darren Muji. He's been the last, I believe, 12 years with the Broncos. Mm-hmm. He's been the assistant GM. Well, he started as a scouting team. He was scouting players at first. Then few years ago, he became the assistant GM. He was a part of Russell Wilson, releasing him and all that, and how to manage the money. And I assume he was help. He was one signing the players too, the contracts and stuff. But I think he's overall like what he's done in free agency so far. I mean, I'm not gonna say like he's doing a really good job.
No,
He's not doing a bad job, but like
no,
he's signing like young players, depth
yeah,
players, not starters. I mean, he hasn't spent too much money besides on Sherwood and Brandon Stevens.
yeah,
But overall, I think I give him like a C plus B minus.
yeah. I think he's at the. I mean, I look at it kind of. He took over a pretty bad situation since we went all in last year, and
Yeah,
then we had to cut Rodgers, and then obviously Adams is gone too. So it's like he came into a situation of a team that hasn't had success recently. A lot of us fans are getting caught up in all of this where it's like, okay, we want to get that success sooner than later. So I feel like, I mean, we talked about it last episode with like the low risk, high reward. Like if these hit, he's going to be looked at as like a saint in New York. But if we go out there and have another 4-13 or 5-12 season, like people are going to be coming for his spot because there were still some like decent sized names in free agency that we could have took the approach on, but obviously we took a more conservative approach now, and that's why I like have hope that they have the plan going into the draft. But I think for the situation that he took over and the cap space we had, I don't think he's done too bad. But it is also one of those things where only time will tell. Like if you look at who we signed, just being realistic, I think we've maybe signed 2 starters. So it's like now, yeah, I do think more of them are going to end up stepping up because that's why they're signed. So we don't know what roles they're going to have going forward, but I do think he's done a good job. I won't say good. He's done a decent job for the circumstances he was brought under.
yeah. And obviously the draft hasn't happened yet. That's not until like a month or something. But we'll
Mm-hmm.
see how the draft goes. But from what it's looking like, it's gonna look like Tyler Warren's gonna be a Jet
Yep.
or that right tackle from Missouri. I think.
Yeah, the big dude.
I can't think of his name.
I saw some the one of the recent mock drafts today had the tackle from LSU going to us, Will Campbell.
Isn't he a left tackle?
They put today that he could play right tackle, but I swore he was either, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been a left tackle like all college. Maybe like one. Maybe he was a right tackle
Yeah,
like
I
for
think
one
that's
game.
why it might have caught me off guard because I saw it
Yeah,
on NFL Network today, and I was like, not one mock draft I've seen has had us taking Will Campbell, so I don't know
yeah,
why all of a sudden that would change. But I mean, if we were to get the right tackle from Mizzou or Tyler Warren, I would be happy with that. Honestly, the only way I'm mad about the 7th pick is I keep seeing like articles here and there that we would somehow use the 7th pick to get Jackson Dart, and that would like infuriate me like to a different level where it's
yeah.
like, okay, you just got Fields for 20 mil a year for 2 years.
Hmm.
Like I understand we still are gonna maybe need a generational like a franchise quarterback, but if Fields turns into a guy, you already got one, and why wouldn't you use that 7th pick to help him then? Instead of bringing in a quarterback under him. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So, and I think Dart's good, but I don't think he's that type of level where, yeah, let's draft Jackson Dart at 7. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the only way I wouldn't be happy about that pick. But I think, like you said, so far what he's came under, I think the coaching staff's done a decent job in free agency.
Yeah,
Nothing more, nothing less.
yeah. Like uh, for all respect to Jackson Dart, to me he's not. He's good, but like
Yeah,
for a first round pick, I mean, early second round pick for sure. But like, but we have 3 quarterbacks:
yeah,
Justin
exactly.
Fields, Tyrod Taylor, Travis. I don't even know if he's gonna come back soon.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing about his recoveries running a little late, which does suck because I loved him in college, and that injury he experienced in college was brutal. But yeah, we have 3 quarterbacks already, and he is like Jordan Travis is a young quarterback who established himself in college. So like I just don't see the idea of reaching that. That's a huge reach at 7 too. Like going into the draft before we had Fields, I was under the impression maybe snipe him in the second round, like the early second round. But seeing these articles where we're in love with him and we're thinking about using the 7th pick, I'm like, no way we can do that.
Yeah. But overall, Darren Mushi's done a decent job, I say. Let's see how the draft goes. All right. Now going to the offensive coordinator, Tanner Angstrand, came from Detroit. What do you think about that?
Um, I mean, I will say the criticism around like Jeff fans when we got first like announced it is completely respectable because he hasn't, ever been an offensive coordinator. So like that idea of like lack of experience kind of, like I do get that part. but I do like the fact that he came over from the Lions, so he was learning under Ben Johnson, who, if you talk about creativity in the league, Ben Johnson's probably the most creative offensive coordinator that we saw last year. So I think there's a lot of it's kind of like the approach we took in free agency, where I think it's like a low risk type of thing, where like this could end up being like some like splash in the park. You know what I'm saying? Where that's my hope, at least with the offense we're building. It seems like we're gonna have to be more of a run heavy team, and then you could also add in some trickery. Maybe get Malachi Corley on those jet sweeps, end arounds, all that stuff too. So I think the lineup we're building for him gives him a great chance, especially with a running quarterback, to show his creativity and what he learned under Ben Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ben Johnson, he was the by far the best offensive coordinator last year. I mean, all the
Mm-hmm.
trickery stuff, like the Lions were like no one offense. I'm pretty sure. So he's definitely learned something under him for sure. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
but I mean, like to be a good offensive coordinator, you also need like some good weapons at least. So hopefully in the draft you can get like a tight end, a wide receiver.
No, exactly.
But I think he's gonna be good for sure. I mean, he was in the XFL, well, not the UFL, for the DC Defenders back then. I guess he was pretty good. So
Mm-hmm.
the Lions took a chance on him. He was the passing coordinator and the tight end coach, I'm pretty sure. And Detroit has a Sam Laporta. He's a pretty good tight end. So I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. They
you could
ended up
probably
utilizing him pretty well. So
yeah.
Tyler Warren to the Jets.
I love it. But so far, I like that one so far. I mean, to me, I couldn't think of any other offense coordinator that we could have gone besides
No,
him.
yeah,
There weren't any good ones in my opinion.
no. I think, like I said, I think we took the best approach here. I
Yeah,
mean, Glenn's coming from Detroit, so you're bringing a familiar face. He learned under one of the best in the game last year, so we're a young team. We're going to take a young offensive coordinator, so I like the approach.
yeah. Going to the passing coordinator, we got Scott Turner. I had to research about him. I didn't know too much about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the son of a former NFL coach, Norv Turner, who was an offensive minded coach. He's been in the NFL since 2011, and he was with the Las Vegas Raiders for a little bit. Then we just brought him for the passing coordinator. I believe he was the quarterbacks coach for the
Yep.
Raiders from 2020 to last year, I believe. I mean, what do you think? Do you think is a pretty good one?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I had in my notes here for this one was just I like the approach of I mean, he has 14 years of experience under his belt. So
Mm,
like for me, it's not really assessing him as a pass game coordinator. It's kind of that thing. I know when Glenn came in, I know a lot of Jet fans were looking at the idea of, okay, we're bringing in a lot of young dudes with a lot like low experience. So having those like big name, or not big name, but like high experience dudes, that still does help your coaching staff. So like he was one of the ones I had starred just because he's been in the league now. I think it's 14 years of experience, or at least in that aspect. So I think, I mean, I don't know a lot about him personally, but just the experience alone gives me a little hope that it could turn out well.
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, he's been a coach. I mean, he's a vet, obviously, so we could learn something from him.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I like it because I believe he has some experience with Glenn. Does he?
Um,
Did he? I'm not sure
I
if
just
he
had
does.
I just had he had 14 years of experience. I know he
Oh,
kind of bounced around.
yeah. I think he was. I might be wrong, but if he was, I'm not surprised that he brought him. So like,
Yeah.
he's just bringing in people he knows that he knows really well. So, but overall, I like it so far, and we'll see how it goes. Now going to the quarterbacks coach, Charles London. He's what I wrote down was he was a quarterbacks coach for Matt Ryan. I don't know what year.
Mm-hmm.
If it's his MVP year, then that's gotta mean something.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he was the quarterbacks coach for Seattle for a few years. He was a part when Geno Smith turned his career around, turned into a really good quarterback
Mm-hmm.
after being a backup for like the last 10 something years. And but I think I actually like this one because like I said he was able to turn around Geno Smith's career around from
Yeah.
being like a pretty bad quarterback, no offense, when he was with us. Obviously, I don't know if you remember, I always forget who the team he was. I punched his jaw, and then he was out for like basically the whole.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm talking
do.
about,
I
right?
don't remember exactly where that was, but I remember that whole incident.
That was the year Fitzpatrick started for us,
Yeah. I
and
had
that's just basically messed it
I
up.
had I had this one starred too because, like you said, that idea of him, he did turn around Geno Smith's career kind of. or he was a big help in it. And I kind of like hope it's one of those things where Geno started off with us, leaves us, and he gets his career kind of kickstarted. And now you've seen the players became, and you look at someone like Justin Fields. At the beginning of Geno Smith's career, you could kind of say him and Fields had similarities. And, Fields is now on his third team in 3 years. So it's kind of one of those situations where, he has experience of that idea of, okay, it's a quarterback who hasn't established himself yet, but he's shown flashes. Like, what can I do as a quarterback coach to get him to his highest potential? So, and he has 16 years of experience, like you were saying. So I think, like you said, I think it's a great signing. I'm hoping he brings the best out of Fields specifically.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I had this one start too because he's turned around his career, and I think yeah, you're right about that. Like Fields and Geno Smith in a way had like a similar career.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like I mean, in Chicago, I mean, his first 2 years weren't the best.
No.
Then his last year in Chicago, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was like honestly pretty good.
Yeah, it
And
was the idea. He showed flashes, but I
yeah,
mean, it's obviously
yeah,
there
they
were
had no one
spots.
pick.
Yeah,
They had
spots
no
you could
one pick.
highlight.
So
Mm-hmm.
obviously they're gonna get like Caleb Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in Pittsburgh when he started he was really good. And then obviously I saw a report too that like he had a chance to stay with the Steelers. They offered him a similar contract with the Jets,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think they guaranteed him as a starter.
Yeah,
So that's probably why he came to us.
I think I saw he kind of felt disrespected, which I understand, and I'm happy we got him. Obviously.
Yeah, honestly, it's the best quarterback we could have gone besides the
Mm-hmm.
draft. And now going to the wide receiver coach. Well, we re-signed him, Sean Jefferson. His son is a current NFL player, Van Jefferson. I'm surprised we didn't
Mm-hmm.
get him. But I mean, he's done a pretty good job with Garrett since last year.
Exactly.
So what do you think? You think it's a pretty good
I
re-signing?
mean, yeah, we talked about this before, but in terms of our coaching staff, he has the most experience, so that
Yeah,
part obviously is pretty big. And I think he's done a decent job with our receiver rooms. I mean, like last year, that's probably the most talent we've had in a while with Devontae, Lazard, and Garrett. So it's like in terms of focusing just on Garrett Wilson's career is obviously continuing to trend up, and he's one of the best receivers in the league, in my opinion. So I do give credit to Sean Jefferson there. So that is kind of my hope too, is like someone like Tyler Johnson, who we signed in free agency. Like I'm hoping Sean Jefferson can kind of like bring him out of that spot where it was like the idea of showing flashes when he was with the Rams, but I'm hoping he could kind of get more out of him. And then if we do draft any receiver in this upcoming draft, that idea of kind of taking him in like he took Garrett in and letting him build into the player that we saw him to be.
for sure. He definitely developed some new wide receiver. I mean, right now Wilson's our best wide receiver, and like his future. Well, I won't say his future is like with the Jets over. Yeah, I mean, he said like he's happy to have Fields as his quarterback again. I mean, obviously Lazard's future is uncertain. Meaning he could get traded anytime soon. He
Yeah,
can get
exactly.
released. And as of right now, he's unfortunately our best wide receiver too. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
can't sign unless he go into the draft. I mean, but as of right now, we should definitely keep him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see a reason to let him
Yeah,
go.
to fix the drop issues. Then when he wasn't dropping the ball, he actually did good.
That's what I was saying. He was a nice receiver too.
Yeah, it's just like there is some games you like somehow just forget how to catch the ball and just
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, just he's led the league in drop zones for the last 2 seasons. So hopefully that changes.
Exactly. If we bring him
Yeah,
back, that needs to change.
yeah, and for a tight end coach, I don't really know who he is. I haven't wrote about him. Jeff Blasco, tight end coach. He has 8 years of experience. I don't know where he was. Do you know where he was the last 8 years?
That was kind of the one too. I really don't know a lot about him, but I saw the 8 years of experience. I think it's decent. So, and with how slim our tight end room is and the high potential of drafting a tight end like Tyler Warren, that could be a very big, I would say opportunity for a tight end coach like that to, take in a generational talent like that and see how he could help our offense. So I think, I mean, I don't know a lot about him personally as a coach, but I think he's in a decent spot right now because if we don't draft Warren, we have one of the slimmest tight end rooms in the NFL. So he's going to have to get the most out of like Ruckert and stuff. But if we do draft Warren, then you have a very good tight end, and you just have to get the most out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, but we can't. In my opinion, I think we should draft for him. I mean, he's
Yeah,
generational. Like last year, Bowers, we passed up on
yeah,
him.
exactly.
But even though I like the Olu pick, it honestly was a good pick in my opinion.
You know,
Just signing him.
I think the Olu pick is going to work out for us more
Yeah,
in the long term.
yeah,
But you can't pass generational talent at tight end back to back years.
yeah, yeah. He's right now. He's looking like our future left tackle, and hopefully he
Mm-hmm.
stay healthy. But yeah, next, last but not least, I got Nick. I might say it wrong, McKinnis, who was a running back coach for Minnesota last year, and he graduated from Alabama A&M.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how old is he? I know he's really young.
I think I could be wrong. I think he could be 28. I don't know.
28.
I could be wrong, but the only thing I had was I went on Minnesota's website and it was just a little write up about him, and it said how last season I guess Minnesota had two running backs rush for 1,000 yards. So I mean, he helped their running game. So I mean, he's coming into a pretty high power rushing room. Brees Hall, you got Braylon Allen, and then we could even, I mean. Yeah, I mean, Brees and Braylon, I feel like you're going to get majority of the snaps again
Yeah,
going forward, just because I feel like adding Fields kind of takes away, you know what I'm saying? Because now we're going to actually add Fields into the running game, which we haven't had recently with a quarterback. So I feel like we're going to mainly stick with Brees and Braylon, but like I said, that's a great running back room to work with.
yeah, for sure. Like you also got Isaiah Davis too. Had a
Yeah,
pretty good year when he started for you, but it's gonna
exactly.
be kind of hard like for him getting the snaps
Yeah, I just
because
don't know. I don't know where Isaiah Davis stands just because of how much I feel like we're going to use Fields in the run game. But I think Davis was great when he played, so I wouldn't hate seeing him on the field. But I mean, like I said, that's up to the coaching staff how they want to use him. But I do think that's a great running back room to rotate those three, and then you have a running quarterback like Fields.
yeah, for sure. But like, mm, he was like he right now he's looking like the third string running back. The Canadian Nwangu,
Yeah,
he doesn't really get running back
no.
snaps. He's just a kick returner. Just I
Hmm.
mean, I think he was a little kick return too. So I mean, he could do that too. But we'll see where Davis could be. But as of right now, we have a really good rushing attack group, and we'll see. Hopefully, Brees can get 1,000 yards this season.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, so switching to the defensive side, we'll start off with the DC, Steve Wilkes. Personally, one of my favorite coaching signings of the whole offseason for us. He's got 18 years of experience. Most recently, he was with the 49ers, and I think in 2023, 2024, he was their DC.
Yeah,
Spent some time with the Panthers as like an interim head coach, but I personally love it. I think he brings an aggressive play calling style to the Jets, and I feel like we're going to see a little more blitzing out of our defense this year, which I think is great. I think sending Quincy off the edge. I mean, when we have sent him off the edge, he's a bullet out of a gun. Like Quincy out the edge is insane. So I think our defense, like the dogs we have on defense, bringing in someone like Steve Wilkes, I think it opens a lot of doors of potential for this defense to get back to what we were seeing in the 2022-2023 season. How do you feel about it?
yeah. I was just about to say when he mentioned Quincy off the edge, I literally just say I seen a video like when he was off on the edge, yo, he was rushing. I honestly remember it was the Broncos game.
Yeah, the Broncos
It was a strip sack.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think I saw the same video. That's where I got it from.
yeah, off the edge. Oh my goodness. Like obviously, like oh yeah. I forgot to mention there was a trade rumor with Quincy. I'm praying that's not true.
Yeah, no, that better not be true.
Yeah, but like
Jet fans will
yeah,
that better not be true.
yeah. But like you said about Steve Wilkes, I mean he's really good. He was the defensive coordinator for the Super Bowl. Then
Hmm.
he surprisingly got I don't know why they fired him after the Super Bowl. I mean they're
Yeah,
trying
they
to
did
blame
him.
the defense.
They did him dirty because
Yeah,
I saw right when we hired him, a lot of 49er fans were saying like he's gonna fit your guys or he's gonna fit your roster well because it's not obviously the scheme changes when with the coach, so he's gonna bring his own scheme, but the talent we have on defense, I feel like can fit pretty well under what he's gonna bring to our team. So I really like that one personally. Next we got I paired them together because it's our DB coach and then our assistant DB coach. So the DB coach is Chris Harris, who's got 10 years of experience, and then our assistant DB coach is Dre Bly, who has 2 years of experience. I personally love the DB room. Not like obviously Sauce and then Stevens, but these two coaches paired together. I'm hoping like obviously Sauce is already established, but he had a kind of a lacking year in tackling, so I hope that could be fixed. But I'm hoping these two could bring the most out of Stevens to get his career. Obviously, he had a down year, so get him back. But Chris Harris was most recently with the Titans last year. He was the DB coach, and then Dre Bly came with Glenn from the Lions. So I think that's cool because Carlton Davis was a star DB last year. That whole secondary for the Lions was lights out. So I think that's a great. I think those two together can bring the most out of our DB room, which I'm very excited for. What do you think about it all?
Yeah, Dre Bly, he's a former player. I remember he has a lot. He's a ball hawk too. As I remember,
Mm-hmm.
he was I believe he won the Super Bowl with the Rams. I think he was known for was he known for being on the Rams or Detroit? I know he played for Detroit for like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I know he played for a while.
Yeah. What about Chris Harris? Was he a former player?
I think Chris Harris used to play too. Yeah, because the name seems so familiar to me.
Yeah, I definitely heard it before,
Yeah.
but it's good to have both of them there too. Because I mean, Dre Bly's a really good coach in my opinion. He was a
Mm-hmm.
DB coach for Detroit last year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, yeah, Carlson Davis, that rookie, Terry Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did he have there?
Uh,
Did he like? Was it Brian? I know Brian Branch is safety, but he's also like a slot corner too, right?
yeah, they kind of used Brian Branch as like a nickel. They kind of moved him
Yeah,
all around, but just the way that defense worked around them all in the secondary, I mean, it's almost like every single dude in the secondary kind of turned into a ball hawk. Like that's the way
exactly.
I was watching the Lions. So, I mean, if they could even bring half of that to New York, I think our secondary would be pretty successful.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and we
next we got our D line coach and then our assistant D line coach. So our main D line coach is Eric Washington, and then the assistant D line coach is Cameron Davis. Cameron Davis was with the Lions the last 3 years, so once again he's also coming over with Glenn. I like this one too because I mean you look at the Lions under him. I mean he's even though he was the assistant, Hutchinson still had 21 sacks through 2 seasons. So I mean there's like that's proven under that. And then Eric Washington has 18 years of experience. He was most recently the DC for the Bears. So, like I said, I mean, our D line, you go away from like Quinn and Williams and stuff. Definitely, we need more help. But with these two coaches together, it's kind of like that DB room where I feel like these dudes can bring the most out of whatever talent we're bringing in. I mean, obviously, Quinn and Williams is already established, but the surrounding guys around him with these two coaches, I feel like I'm hoping they could bring out the most. What do you think about it?
yeah. I don't know too much about them, but I mean, the Lions had a pretty good defensive line. They had obviously Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, they also had Darius Smith for a bit. I mean, he's a
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. I believe the Lions also got another D tackle. I can't think of his name. That was pretty good. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he
Yeah,
was he came around towards the end of the year, but that's kind of what I'm hoping too with the Jets is um I know watching the Lions, they had a couple dudes towards the end of the year, obviously after Hutchinson got injured, a couple like smaller names step up. So I'm hoping that kind of continued success carries on to New York with these two. And then the linebacker coach, this was one of my favorite personally, Aaron Curry. He has 6 years of experience. He was with the Steelers most recently, and I mean, if you just think of the Steelers in the last 20 years, they're known as just being this hard nosed defensive football team. So, and I've personally always loved watching Steeler football just for their defense. Like I feel like they always are one of the most physical teams, and no matter who they put at linebacker, I feel like their linebacker core has always played solid. So I don't know too much about him, but I know the Steelers have had pretty good linebacker play recently. So I mean, he's coming into a very established linebacker room. I mean, Quincy has established himself, and Sherwood just got the extension, rightfully so. So I'm hoping that he could bring the most out of them and push them further than they've even already shown.
yeah. They obviously Pittsburgh had people like T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith. They got that rookie that played pretty good this year. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
Payne Wilson.
yeah, and obviously also for Eric Curry, I believe he was a number four overall pick in the draft. He was drafted by the Seahawks. He dealt with injuries his career, so obviously his career was cut short. But I know in college he was really good, really really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean he could bring that with like our linebacker room I know obviously we released CJ Mosley, unfortunately,
Yeah, exactly.
but I believe we got some other good linebackers we haven't really played yet. Zaire Barnes, I haven't seen him play at all.
Oh, neither have I.
Yeah, and I believe we got someone else, or we might even draft one. I won't be surprised.
Yeah, we could definitely draft one in like
Late in
the
the late
fourth or
rounds.
fifth. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
but yeah,
lastly, last coach I had is our special teams. Like I said, I think this is also a pretty big one just because, I mean, special teams is, it's the third factor of the game, but if your special teams is lacking, that could be the difference in the game. I mean, we've seen it multiple times as Jet fans. Uh, Chris, I think it's Bajo. It's his third year. He was most recently with the Broncos, who had a pretty, solid special teams core last year. So I'm very excited for this one because, we've talked about through all our episodes, our special teams last year was, lacking at a lot of times. So I'm hoping, he could come in and bring like a hard nosed, established like mindset into the special teams room and, kind of get whatever dudes need to go out there and, perform the best for our special teams to actually make that factor in the game where we're not on the losing end of it, but instead we're going to go force a fumble on punt, and that's going to be the reason we win. Or we're actually going to, make the game-winning field goal and not lose.
exactly. Like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they were terrible last year. I mean, there were some times where they did play bad, like
Yeah.
giving up like a 50-yard kick return, missing
Mm-hmm.
field goals back to back. I mean, yeah, from a former Jet, John Franklin Myers,
Yep.
he said he's a really good special team coordinator. I mean, he was just in league like not even like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's why a lot of these coaches on this list are pretty young, which could be a little scary, but I also do. I mean, Glennon, they're sticking to that approach of, young, but it's the idea of like a lot of potential all around, and that was one of my favorite signings for sure. Is I feel like he could bring that hard nosed, mindset to our special teams core, and I mean, when you're a team like us that, last year was not the year we wanted to, everyone's kind of questioning, are we going into a rebuild? Like, what's going to happen? It's like, I kind of look at it as the situation of like, this is a great situation to be in, kind of like for these coaches and these players, where it's like, it's kind of that gray area. Like last year, we had high expectations to make the playoffs even more. I mean, people were calling us a Super Bowl team, but this year it's like, I saw something today. Our win total is set at 5.5. So it's like these players and coaches. First of all, majority of these coaches and players haven't experienced or haven't established themselves in the league yet. It's like, what better spot to do it than New York? You know what I'm saying? Like, go out there and actually, prove us fans wrong and prove all these analysts wrong that, we just because we don't have Rodgers and we don't have these big names anymore, like we're gonna go out there and still win. So that's my hope with the whole coaching staff and all these free agent signings is they kind of prove everyone wrong and we actually get a, exciting, joyful year of, flashes of fields, whatever receivers we bring in, whoever we draft, like it's all getting put together, and then, a couple of these coaches actually, bring the most out of some of these dudes. Like I think that would be great to see as fans.
Yeah, I think from everyone that we got so far, I think it's gonna make a huge impact for sure. Right now, I trust Aaron Glenn. I mean, let's see. That obviously depends how the season goes.
Exactly.
If we're winning games, then I'll trust him. But
Mm-hmm.
so far, out of if you had to say it right now, who's your favorite one that you got that we signed so far? Out of all offense and defense.
Out of all the coaches,
Yeah.
um, for me personally, I mean, I think on the list we went through, there's probably 4 or 5 where I think they could be like game changers, obviously. But I think my personal favorite, because of the potential I'm kind of seeing with the players we have, is probably Steve Wilkes. I kind of see this vision of, I think our defense could get back to that, top 3, top 5 range with the roster we have and bringing in someone like Steve Wilkes. So I'm very excited to see how he gets them, like Sauce, Quincy, all these, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Williams. Like I'm excited to see how he gets them all playing on defense. So that's probably my favorite. What's yours?
I mean, I also like Tanner Angstrom for like offense coordinator. I mean, but honestly, I like Dre Bly as a even though he's an assistant DB coach. I mean, like I say, he's a former player, played for many years. He was a
Mm-hmm.
really good corner. I'm pretty sure if you ask someone who he is, they'll know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could definitely impact like everyone in our cornerback room. I mean, obviously Sauce had down here, but he's still a top, in my opinion, he's still a top 5 corner in
Oh,
the league.
easily. Yeah,
easily.
easily.
I don't know why people say like he's overrated. Like, I mean, obviously he had tackling problems. I mean, look up his stats. He allowed like 300 something yards and let up like if you look at, I guarantee you, look at every other corner in the NFL. I guarantee you, every corner like they say like our top are going to have worse stats.
Yeah, exactly. He had arguably two of the best first 2 years you could have in as a a corner in the NFL, and he has 1 year where, yeah, as a fan, I wasn't expecting him to kind of get beat guys like Kendrick Bourne and stuff on the Patriots, but that's one down year, and if his down year is going to be giving up 300 yards, then go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like for example, like no hate to Stevens, but you have someone like Stevens who just gave up 900 yards in a season, and then you have someone like Sauce who, like if you were a fan, like for us at least, obviously it's different because Sauce was on our team, but like people are kind of like talking about Sauce and Stevens like they're in the same category, and it's like, well, you have dude over here who's getting targeted, giving up 900 yards, and Sauce gave up 300 yards for the first time in his career, and now you want to say he's not a top three, top five corner, like that hate was completely blown out of proportion. So that's kind
Exactly.
of like I was tied back to everything else where I hope Sauce comes out this year with that like chip on his shoulder where it's like, I'm gonna show you guys like the player I am. Like you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He's gonna. I think he's have a really good year from our quarterback coach. Like, and like I said, but like having a quote unquote down year. I don't know if you realize, but last year at Pax Tam, he let the year the 2023 season, he let up like around 700, 800 yards, and people don't even talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone was saying before. Obviously, this last year,
Yeah,
Surtain is, my opinion, probably as of right now the best corner in the league.
for
But
sure.
those first 2 years with Sauce, you cannot say Sauce was not better than Surtain. Like
Exactly.
Sauce's rookie, like he had one of the greatest rookie years you could have, and then his second year he came back and did even better. So he had a down year last year, but I have no worries he's going to come back next year and be an All Pro first team corner.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's better than Sertain next season. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the year before last season, I remember people were talking about like how Sertan was getting fried or cooked every game. I remember the one play that killed my mind in sim game, burnt by former Jet Robbie Anderson. The seven, you know what I'm talking the seven
Yeah, I saw
when
that
Miami
Robbie
scored like
Anderson
70.
posted that clip recently.
Oh yeah, I seen that, and people aren't going to talk about that. Like, and then people post like a sauce clip. What's a clip they'll post?
Oh, the one against the Cardinals
Oh,
when
where he missed the tackle
yeah,
on
when he
McBride.
missed the tackle. Like, yeah, I know it's bad, but
Yeah,
it's
and the
it's
one
it's just
against the
how
Colts.
sports media is now.
Yeah,
These dudes when they're at the top of their game, we want everyone, and especially New York media. I mean, if you were looking at, obviously our season didn't go the way we wanted to, but you would think Sauce Gardner was like a bottom 15 corner by the way these people talk about him. I'm like, he still is a top, in my opinion, he still is a top five corner easily,
yeah.
and he could easily be number 1 and 2 next year for sure.
Exactly. Like obviously, like the in my like you said, the best corner right now is Pat Surtain. Who do you think could be second? Maybe
That's a tough one. I mean,
I can't think.
I personally, I mean, this is kind of on the category of corners, but J.C. Horn getting that contract, that was insane.
Yeah,
Because I think J.C. Horn's a good corner, but I think it's not really an argument. I think DB2 has to be Stingley right now. I think Stingley was
ball
Stingley
up.
was he had a great year.
Yeah, he was injured his first 2 years. But if I'd say for a third corner, I'm just thinking like I'm thinking like AFC, each team.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I'm not trying to hate on Jalen Ramsey, but in my opinion,
No.
he's not a top five corner.
No, not anymore. I mean, he's still good,
Yeah,
but
but
I mean, going into next season, like for me personally, I would put Surtain obviously one. He just came off a depoy, and then I'm gonna put Stingley two. But I don't think it's crazy to say you could put Sauce at that 3, 4, or 5
yeah,
spot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Actually,
Like
as a matter of
I'm
fact,
thinking
he's
of
three.
dudes like Porter on the Steelers, but he has a holding problem, so I wouldn't put him in the top 5. Someone maybe like AJ Terrell, but like those dudes aren't fully like established. You could think of someone like Arnold maybe, but I think Sauce is well on still in the top 5. And like I said, with the year I think he's gonna have, he can easily start creeping back up.
Yeah, actually, now I think about it, you're right. I think he could be three,
Mm-hmm.
and then four, I would say, maybe Denzel Ward number four. You think
Yeah,
so?
Denzel Ward actually had a really good year.
Yeah. Then what would you say? Humphrey's the top five corner? Maybe actually, maybe a top. 7, 8 corner.
Yeah, no, I look at him as more of like because he hits hard, like
Yeah,
he's great, but sometimes he lacks in coverage. But I mean that kind of makes sense with how aggressive he is in the run game for sure too. Like he's so aggressive to get his nose in the ball that sometimes he does blow coverage. But I don't know. I mean there's definitely like a lot of great corners like we were saying, but I kind of look at dudes like I mean Stingley established himself very fast. Surtain obviously has proven this over a couple years now. So like I kind of group like right now it's you got Surtain kind of like in his own category, and then everyone else is going to try to be coming for that number 2 spot. And I don't think it's crazy to say that Sauce could even catch up to Surtain. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take away last season, people were looking at Sauce and Surtain like this, like it was a debate who's better. And now yes, Sauce had a down year and Surtain won depoy, but I don't see the separation too much in them. But like I said, it's going to have to show up on the field next year, and I think I have a lot of hope for Sauce. I'm very excited to see how he comes out next year.
yeah, obviously, yeah, like I said, like top 5, yeah, you're right. He could be number 1 in my opinion. I mean, I'm not even
Yeah.
trying to sound biased, but in my opinion, his first 2 years,
Oh
I
yeah.
think he was the best corner in all football for
I Yeah,
sure.
by far.
Yeah, and then we got people like there's a lot of great corners in the league. I mean,
Hmm.
he's came to my mind. He's been injured last 2 seasons. Trayvon Diggs.
Oh yeah.
He's been getting burnt recently. I mean, he's a ball hawk too.
Yeah, that's the thing is when you're that big of a ball hawk, obviously it's
Yeah,
gonna counterside in the numbers like the stats because
yeah.
he's so aggressive. But
But yeah, but Saucy, yeah, he's not. That's why he's not really a ball hawk. I mean,
no,
he's more focused on coverage than getting the interception. But I
yeah, I mean he
mean,
had one last year.
yeah, 1 last year, then 2 his rookie year, 0
Hmm.
that year after that. But I think it's going to change after season for sure with Dre Bly and what was it, Chris Harris? That was his name.
Yep, Chris Harris
Yeah,
and Dre Bly.
yeah, they got off to change that. I mean, I'm honestly excited to see Sauce next season, see how he with a new
Oh yeah.
contract possibly. I want to get his signed jersey soon. I mean, shoot, I want to get a picture of him too. I see him at the Jets games. I mean, he's like a little. He usually the last one to leave, but hopefully I can get
Yeah,
that picture soon.
he's definitely one
But
of the fan favorites. I love him.
yeah, for sure. Then hopefully the next Revis, but we'll see how that goes.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got on for today's episode. Do you have anything else to say?
No, that's really it. I mean, kind of just to recap, I'm hoping the staff brings the most out of the young talent we got and we're gonna bring in, and hoping for the best for the Jets this year. As a fan, I think we're all tired of losing, so I'm hoping this is kind of one of those opposite years where we don't have a lot of expectations. So let's go out there and prove everyone wrong.
Let's see. This is New Era Jets. We'll see you next episode.